Hey guys, welcome back. This is David with Unqualified Critics, and I'm going to be overviewing the Golden Tee cabinet from Arcade1up. I've actually had this for a while, but there aren't a ton of reviews for this up on YouTube, and I wanted to walk through this in detail so you can all see how it works. It's actually my second favorite cabinet in my collection, so let's dive in. Looking inside the control panel, there are two notable elements. One, there's a separate dust cover for the power and volume switches. For all the other units I've seen, this has been covered by the main dust cover. I assume this is just a function of not enough room under everything since you've got this huge trackball in the middle. But the other thing is this trackball. I was curious who made it since it does not have, I don't think the camera would pick it up, but there's very fine debossed print of Tastemakers LLC, and that's the parent company for Arcade1up. So apparently they've made their own trackball. But again, I have no complaints. I think the thing works great, and we'll show it in gameplay in a moment. To overview this unit, I consider this a Generation 2.5 in the Arcade1up lineup. It does have the pushed back screen, angled back screen like we see in Gen 3, and actually even more so. This is inset quite a bit deeper than the Marvel and Star Wars cabinets. It's got the light up marquee. This was the first unit to come with it. It's a really nice addition to the product. It's got an overall sense of better of an arcade replacement than I think a lot of the other stuff that they've made. It just feels like a more specialized cabinet. Every game is Golden Tee. They all have, you know, the same look and feel, and so then they all match the control panel and the graphics on the cabinet itself perfectly. And in my opinion, most importantly, it has a real trackpad. It has a ball-bearing trackball, and this is way beyond what you would find in the Centipede cabinet, if any of you have tried that out. You roll the thing, and it has real momentum to it. It feels a lot like the arcade cabinet, at least as I remember. It's been years, but you know, when I played with this, it didn't seem meaningfully any different from what I used in the arcade. Drawback, this is still a mono speaker cabinet. The original Golden Tee 2K did have stereo speakers underneath the marquee, which is what you'd see in a Gen 3 cabinet. And again, thinking of this as a Gen 2.5. We've got the old school single speaker in the control panel. We also have real T-molding around the control panel. I don't know why they do this on some cabinets and not others. Even the limited edition Marvel cabinet does not have this, but throughout the wood paneling, this is just tape. So the only real T-molding you're getting is on the control panel. The bezel graphics are just like what you saw in the arcade. It's got a clear explanation of how to play the game, and it's got a dedicated start button, not just the generic player one button that this game used, or that Arcade1up used on most of their other cabinets. And as for the graphics themselves, along the side panel, I don't think the camera will pick this up, but those are, in my opinion, upgraded over a lot of the other cabinets. It's got a nice shine to it. They're basic, obviously, just black and white. But for what it is, it looks good. It's shiny. It looks like what you'd see in the cabinet, in the real cabinet, that is. And then you've also got an included riser with custom graphics. And another first, I think this was the first Arcade1up unit to have a custom riser. They had promoted them before at their trade shows, but not available for sale. So in a lot of ways, this has been a preview of what's to come with Arcade1up, which is improved build quality and more arcade-like controls than what we would have seen. Now here's something that I have with my cabinet. I do not know if this affects everybody, but there is a low-grade hiss in the background. Not sure if this microphone will pick it up, but if I'm really quiet, I can hear it. It sort of sounds like electrical interference. I didn't always notice it, but then I generally have the audio on and just turn the audio off for, you know, recording this video, and that's what I noticed. There is a hiss in the background. Another thing worth noting, this is the two-stage audio. Low, it doesn't have the 15-stage adjustable audio that you get with Gen 3. I wouldn't complain too much about that. It'd be nice if this was on the new system, but the 2 audio stages, I think, are pretty well calibrated, so I have no complaints. Stage 1 works really well for me, and if it's loud, you have people over, stage 3 is going to be fun. Or stage 2, that is. So the 4 games, Golden Tee Classic, Golden Tee 2K, 99, and 98. This game does save your high scores.
Call for 1 to hit.
It was something a lot of people complain about, including me, with Gen 1 Arcade1up cabinets. Alright, we're going to see if we can hook this bad boy in. Not even close. Well, you get the idea for how the game works. Let's go ahead and click into Golden Tee 2K. You'll notice in the game selection screen, that's still your Gen 1 or Gen 2 Arcade1up selection. It's the vertical game selection, but when you select the game, you get the little ding noise that you get from Gen 3. So this really does feel situated between Gens 2 and 3.
Call for 1, trying for birdie. Call for 1, trying for par. Call for 1, trying for birdie.
So because these are arcade ROMs, you can't pause them. And I can tell you when you're, playing this game with people, amongst doing other things, playing pool or whatever in the background in between shots, it would be really nice if you could pause. You wait, I think, 20, 30 seconds, and you get penalized for not shooting. Nailed it.
From the beach. Call for 1, trying for bogey.
Get a little replay action. And lastly, Golden Tee 98.
A good firm tee shot.
Now I would note that while this screen is recessed back into the cabinet, if you have some drunk friends over, keep an eye on them because it's not too hard to smash your hand into the monitor if you're not paying attention.
Golfer 1, trying for birdie.
For final impressions, overall, pretty satisfied with this product. In the pros category, we've got a tailored display inset that was specifically engineered so that you can hit that trackball and not jam your fingers. That's an attention to detail we've not seen previously from Arcade1up. There's a full-size 3-inch, in my opinion, arcade quality trackball. It's not the name brand, but the thing does work really well. I can't fault them for not dropping $90 a unit to add the name brand. There is real tee molding in the control panel. This is one of only two ones I know of, the other being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Arcade1up, to have the tee molding. This is a touch of detail we ought to be seeing on all of them, but it is on this product, so that's a plus. Overall, a sense of authentic detailing that is beyond most of the other products from Arcade1up. It's maybe easy to do because everything is one game, Golden Tee, just different iterations of it. But you look at the unit next to the pool table in my basement and it looks like it belongs there. It looks like it's, you know, a quality product. It doesn't look cheesy like some of their older cabinets did, in my opinion. It has the lit marquee, which looks fantastic. It comes with a custom riser, which I really like. In the negative side, it is mono. There's no excuse for this. This was a $500 product at launch. It really should have been stereo. And even if that meant waiting a few months to launch this with Gen 3, so be it. I'd prefer this have stereo speakers. I think I mentioned earlier, but some of the ROMs in this cabinet were mono. I think 98, for example, was mono, but Golden Tee 2K was stereo, and I think Golden Tee Classic was stereo too. So we really ought to be getting the stereo element. And I have to say, as a con, I guess, no hap trackball, but I'm really not going to hold that against them. Final thoughts, this is well worth the money. It was $500 at launch. It now is easily found for around $400 at Walmart. Some people have found it for $300. I've not in my area, but you can definitely check your local stores and see. I think at $400, this is well worth pulling the trigger if you're either a fan of golf in general or Golden Tee, or if you just have a game room and you really want to complete the look of it. This is a good looking product. That's all I have for you today. Look forward to talking to you guys next time.